Elbows again from that exposed head.
In 2002, the UFC is nearly down for the count.
UFC, it was dying.
But across the Pacific, Japan's Pride Fighting Championship thrives.
Pride is very well funded.
Pride gets the best fighters in the world, doing the most sensational fights.
Another kick! Another kick!
The people freaking loved it.
Building a reputation as the most brutal MMA promotion on earth.
He said, Don, son, I'm sorry. So what for? It's for not giving you a good enough fight. I said, you're crazy. You give me a better fight, you're gonna kill me.
Pride's first rule.
This is horrible. This is like Jaws.
Is that there are no rules.
Pride was just a circus almost. That's how crazy it was.
They wanted you to be on whatever you want to be on.
Woo! Woo!
They offered him extra money to lose the fight. He took it.
How the hell did that happen?
And secretly calling the shots of this outlaw MMA promotion.
He was somebody you don't want to mess with.
Are genuine gangsters.
They can do everything they want. They rule the city.
Criminals willing to do anything to keep control.
He hung himself. What? Why?
Was he murdered?
It's hard to say. And not only that, you don't want to say on TV.
In Japan, martial arts have been practiced for centuries. Karate, sumo, aikido, and jiu-jitsu all trace their origins to the land of the rising sun. But for much of the 20th century, it's pro wrestling that reigns as the most popular Japanese combat sport, including All Japan Pro Wrestling and Antonio Inoki's New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Many audience still believed pro wrestling was a real fight. My name is Shu Hirata. I'm an MMA manager, but also I was a writer at the time when the Pride Fighting Championship was peaking in the market. But of course, there's the other half of the public thinking that's a show. Maybe pro wrestling is not really a real fight.
Both halves come together in the early 90s with a newfound devotion to competitions that fuse pro wrestling and mixed martial arts. Kickboxing promotion K1 and its rival, Pancrase Hybrid Wrestling, present breathtaking matchups with real fighting and submission techniques. These MMA promotions shatter pro wrestling's illusion of combat.
8 tough warriors who must face the fury of the octagon.
Thousands of miles away, the Ultimate Fighting Championship is trying to hook Americans on MMA. Featuring a shocking level of brutality never seen before in the U.S.
But look at him swinging the arm like a club.
You need to go back and watch the early days of the UFC. It was really neat back then. I am Don Fry. And the UFC, I was known as the Predator. UFC didn't have any rules except for no biting, no eye gouging, and everybody did it anyways.
Trying to get caught in the move.
The UFC is co-created by Rorion Gracie, whose family is legendary in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. The BJJ system of self-defense is first developed by the Gracie patriarch, Helio Gracie, and the UFC is created by Rorion to showcase his family's dominant style of martial arts.
The lightest guy from the whole tournament wins the freaking tournament. How is that possible?
When you're good, you don't have to be violent.
Bas Rudener, former 3-time world champion in Japan at Pancrase and UFC heavyweight champion. The Gracies were freaking ruling the submission game because that was their bread and butter.
Back in Japan, promoter and former pro wrestler Satoru Sayama, also known as Tiger Mask, is inspired by the UFC's free-for-all format. In 1994, he launches his own MMA event called Vale Tudo. Vale Tudo takes its name from a no-rules combat sport in Brazil, and Satoru recruits Rickson Gracie to be his main contender.
This is the closest thing of a real street fight ever happened in Japan before.
Vale Tudo 94 brought to the public attention the realistic aspect of the MMA. My name is Rickson Gracie. I'm one of the members of the Gracie family, which has been involved in martial arts since the day one.
Unlike the uniform fighting styles seen in K1 and Pancrase, at Vale Tudo, anything goes.
For me, it's always a pleasure to see this kind of introduction to MMA to the Japanese audience.
The Gracie's Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is both familiar and different from anything Japanese fight fans have seen.
Of course, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is coming from the Japanese Jiu-Jitsu. But Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu becomes like a everything goes type of fight, which requires much more of the fighter.
The Gracie fighting style has already proved effective in the UFC.
It's one of the fundamental positions in Gracie Jiu-Jitsu right now,
where Rickson's brother Royce wins his second tournament months before Rickson's debut in Japan.
He's going to snap his arm. He did too.
So it's a disorganized confrontation and makes Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu more effective than others because we can adapt. We're comfortable in every aspect of the fight, with different than the traditional Jiu-Jitsu was. We repackage Jiu-Jitsu, we make a better, more effective art and bring it back to Japan, and they love that.
Rickson submits 3 fighters in one night and issues a challenge.
We say we can beat any other martial arts. So we create the Gracie Challenge, which was an open challenge for any martial artist who tried to test themselves against us.
I'm pretty confident. I don't know if somebody out there can beat me up. I'm here already to keep defending the Gracie Jiu-Jitsu tradition.
Vale Tudo turns Rickson into a celebrity in Japan.
You know, I could not go anywhere without the crowd go around me. That's kind of put me close to the heart of the Japanese audience, and I felt very blessed by that.
But Rickson is not so popular with Japan's pro wrestlers, who worry the rising popularity of mixed martial arts is killing their sport.
The world of wrestling, they start losing terrain. So when they say, oh, we do MMA too, I can fight MMA, I want to fight Rickson.
Japan's Universal Wrestling Federation, the UWF, publicly taunts Rickson to fight one of their own.
Professional wrestlers start using my name to become a possible challenge in their arena. And I could not accept that because in their arena, they fake fights.
Undaunted, the UWF names the wrestler to fight Rickson. Yoji Anjo, a heel, is one of Japan's most popular pro wrestlers.
Again, they were pro wrestling promotions. They wanted to try to convince the audience it's a real fight.
Anjo invited me to fight for real. He said he wanted to come into LA to kick my ass. I said, if you come, you come.
Mr. Yoji Anjo went to California with all the pro wrestling journalists.
On December 7th, 1994, Yoji arrives at the Gracie Academy in Santa Monica, spoiling for a fight.
The day they come, I was in my house eating, and my assistant called me and said, Rickson, they're here. I immediately get into my car, start to drive into the academy. As I arrive, at the school at the time, it was about 20 guys practicing. And then Anjo, with another about 6 or 8 different press guys, reporters. I saw just the president of UWF, and he asked me, Mr. Gracie, the fighter is outside. If you want, he can come in to fight you. I said, okay, yes, bring him in.
The Japanese reporters are forced to stay outside. Inside, the rest of Yoji's entourage and Rickson's students suddenly have front row seats to an international showdown.
He's my height, little thicker. I made 185 pounds, he made 220. Anjo has some skills. He's a great martial artist. He's been fighting forever. And he was a tough guy. I throw him to the ground, start to beat him up. He turns around, expect me to choke him. But I was not intent to choke him. If I just choke him and he wake up, said, oh, nothing happened, he can lie, he can do whatever. I have to hurt him, make him bleed, break his nose and beat him up, and then he turns back again to me, and then I choke him out and put him to sleep.
In less than 5 minutes, the fight is over with Yoji left lying in a pool of his own blood. The pro wrestler suffering a beatdown by the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu master.
When I won, my students grabbed me and lift me up and they party a little bit. But it was not something I am proud of myself. It was just something I have to do to keep my reputation on.
Instead, it's Rickson's reputation that takes a beating. The fight makes headlines in Japan with a photo of Yoji emerging battered and bloodied from the Gracie Academy. With the reporters left outside, Yoji feels free to claim he was ambushed inside the gym.
He said he was jumped by the crew, by my guys. He did what he had to do to keep his image, to promote controversy. But fortunately, I have the tape.
Rickson's assistant had filmed the entire fight. So Rickson calls a press conference to counter Yoji's claims, and the videotape becomes Exhibit A.
It was a great, lucky move for me to get this all recorded.
I actually saw the tape of that fight. I saw when Rickson took a back of Mr. Anjo. He stuck his 2 fingers right into Mr. Anjo's nose and pulled back and went for the choke. There was no rules, but that ended up making Mr. Rickson Gracie very famous in Japan.
Eventually, the public will see. I may be gonna show this tape one day, but it's rated R, too violent.
As with all memorable fights, the Rickson and Yoji dojo fight gets everyone thinking one word: rematch. An ambitious TV producer, Nobuyuki Sakakibara, sees an opportunity.
And that's where organizers invite me to fight him in a big event called Pride. They said, I want to bring a new event to capitalize in your audience, to capitalize on the momentum. So could you be interested to fight in this new event? I intend to do it. I said, yes. If the rules are proper, if it's a serious business, I'm in.
Out of the Rickson-Yoji grudge match, a new MMA promotion called Pride is born. Rickson Gracie's name will help lure some of the best fighters in the world to Japan. But Pride will also attract a notorious criminal organization, one that will move in on the promotion and threaten the lives of anyone who gets in their way. The controversy surrounding the bloody, unsanctioned brawl between Rickson Gracie and Japanese pro wrestler Yoji Anjo provokes a grudge match. It also prompts TV producer Nobuyuki Sakakibara, fellow executive Naoto Morishita, and a mysterious financier named Hiromichi Mimose, who invests $50 million to team up and promote the bout. Pride Fighting Championship's inaugural event will pit Gracie against Yoji Anjo's master, Nobuhiko Takada, the #1 pro wrestler at Japan's Universal Wrestling Federation.
Because of the fact that Anjo lost terribly, it's not like, oh, Rickson, you have to beat Takada now. It's almost like a Takada, you have to get up and beat this guy. Otherwise, you just beat up your students, and as a master, what are you going to do?
The pro wrestler thought they are the toughest, they are the strongest. And if somebody claimed that I'm better than you, or, your pro wrestling is fake, let's do it. My name is Tadashi Tanaka. I'm a journalist and critic in the field of MMA more than, I think, 50 years. Initially, people were fascinated by this idea, who is the strongest, Takada or Rickson Gracie?
With Takada and Rickson headlining, organizers fill out the card by importing 3 fighters from the struggling UFC: Oleg Taktarov, Dan "The Beast" Severn, and Gary "Big Daddy" Goodrich.
Hey, how you doing? I'm Gary Goodrich. I'm a star. UFC They weren't keeping me busy enough at the time. So Pride called me up and said, Gary, you want to fight here? I said, yeah, okay, let's go. I knew it was in Japan. That's it. That's all I knew.
On October 11th, 1997, Pride's debut inside a 50,000-seat stadium may have been overly optimistic.
It was at the Tokyo Dome, and it didn't really sell out, but still, it was a big news in a way that very popular pro wrestlers are really stepping in to do a big, real fight.
The main event, Rickson Gracie, like him or hate him, has got killer instincts.
In 13 years, no one has defeated Rickson in a professional fight. Takada plans to be the first.
He's a dangerous fighter. I see him with the potential to beat me up if I make a mistake.
The hometown crowd cheers for Takada, waiting for Gracie to make that mistake.
Back position, beautiful, tight.
They wait in vain.
Worst case scenario has just unfolded for Takada.
I set up the arm lock.
He's gonna go for armbar. There it is. There we go. Oh, he's got it.
So when I have a perfect lock, I felt like he was done.
Takada's got the hands locked. Takada taps out.
Mr. Takada got smoked.
That was a quick one, folks.
This is when many of so-called fight fans in Japan and pro wrestling fans in Japan realized that, okay, maybe BJJ fighters are the best fighters in the world.
There's Yoji Andro, the man who Rickson beat down in the studio. Yep.
He was the first so-called foreign, non-Japanese MMA fighters who really captured the heart of Japanese fans.
And in hope of flaming that passion with foreign MMA fighters, Pride organizes 3 more events the following year.
Rickson gets the mount again.
And after that, Pride gets the best fighters in the world doing the most sensational fights.
While Japanese support for Pride's unrestrained fighting style is growing, its American competitor, the UFC, is imploding from governmental repercussions over its no-holds-barred format.
Elbows again from that exposed head.
Known for its blood-soaked battles in the cage, the UFC incurs the wrath of state legislators, who begin banning mixed martial arts in states across the country.
UFC was dying. Pride was very well funded, and they appreciated your training and your skill and your knowledge that went into it. Sacrifices, a lot of sacrifices. They would tell you, we don't care if you win or lose, just give us a great fight and you'll be back. I never quit and always gave them their money's worth, plus some.
Pride aggressively incites the conduct that is getting the UFC banned, instituting a card system to encourage more violence by financially penalizing inaction.
You know, they have a red card, yellow card. If you get the yellow card, you get deduction on the points, and same for the red card, you know? And you lose the part of the purse, too. So you get a yellow card, maybe 10% loss.
So Pride Fighting Championships wanted action. And they will tell you in the rules meeting, if there's no action, you're going to get a yellow card.
So in that sense, I think yellow card and red card was a part of the plan to make fighters aggressive.
That red card made him see red.
Pride's rules-free format allows fighters to engage in the most brutal tactics imaginable.
They did prohibit headbutt to the face. They no fish hooking, you know, no punch to the balls. But still, they left some of the rules like stomp into the face, sucker kick to the head on down grounded opponent, which would never be allowed in MMA here today.
Oh, my God.
Pride's goal of building the world's most violent and bloody fighting promotion informs their every action, or inaction.
What was the drug testing like at Pride?
Non-existent, you know.
They took your pee and nothing ever happened. They'd just take your pee and throw it in the sink. And sometimes that wouldn't even take it. I think they wanted people to look like Greek gods. They wanted people to look huge, big muscles and this because it made their show better. They wanted you to be on whatever you want to be on.
If you see a guy completely veined out, freaking traps everywhere, you know he's on something, right? So I don't know what those speed tests were testing, but yeah, there were some gigantic guys there. Let me say it like that.
And what about having competitors fight in their weight class? That's for the wimps at the UFC. Pride is an open-weight competition.
He's going to be tired in 5 minutes because he's too big.
Which leads to some jaw-dropping pairings in the ring.
I've never seen a human being that big in my life.
Pride Fighting Championships, it was just wild. They, you know, if you see a sumo wrestler who is 500 pounds fighting a guy who's 180 pounds.
No, don't go. You gotta be out of your mind. This is horrible. This is like Jaws.
And then the 180-pound guy beats him. You know, that's crazy.
He tapped out.
Pride was just a circus almost. That's how crazy it was.
Looking to steal away fans from other fight promotions, Pride approaches former Pancrase champion Boss Rutan to join the circus as ringmaster.
They said, we're going to go live in 2 shows from now. It's going to be the championship, the 2000 championship. We're going to go live to America. Do you want to be a commentator? Sure.
I'm Boss Rutan. We're going to be working together.
I don't know. I was a crazy guy there. They go, what is she doing? I said, well, just let him go. Just let him go.
Looking sharp, boss.
I had no leash. I could do and say whatever I want.
But Pride likes to keep its foreign fighters tethered, even ordering some to take a dive as a way to create and maintain their preference for Japanese champions.
For the first couple of Prides, they had a lot of fake fights. They had Japan really fighting against everybody else, and they wanted you to lose. They used to tell people what they want them to. I want you to win this fight. I want you to lose this fight. And I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it.
Nobody ever asked me to throw a fight. Kind of hurt my feelings to think that they figured eventually I'd get hurt and wouldn't be able to win myself, you know, so.
In the business, a predetermined fight is called a work. And one of the most infamous in Pride's history occurs at its 5th event in 1999. Organizers have pro wrestler Nobuhiko Takada in a seeming mismatch against the UFC's first heavyweight champion, Mark Coleman.
Mark Coleman, undefeated in the octagon.
Coleman is the godfather of ground and pound and one of the most notorious brawlers in MMA.
Coleman's going to take him down. 100% sure.
There was a lot of talk. It had already slipped out that apparently it was going to be a work.
There it is.
It gets out of the back. Every freaking body knows. All the fighters were talking about it. And I was always very against that.
Takada has got to move on this.
And when you look at that fight, where Mr. Takada won is kind of unnatural leg submission.
No, he's giving it, what the hell? Oh, no.
It's easy for Coleman to kind of get out.
There's no, what?
And he tapped it pretty quickly.
He's oh, no. I don't believe this. How the hell did that happen?
According to Coleman, he needed the money for his wife's surgery or something like that at the time. So when they offered him extra money to lose the fight, he took it.
Oh, my God. Takada beat Mark Coleman. Unbelievable. This absolutely defies reality.
I was just really ticked off by it. But, yeah, that happened, unfortunately, a few times in the beginning.
They wanted the public to follow the game. So they wanted their guys to win because people followed them. And I understand, it's his business.
But the business is still suffering. Even after Pride signs a national broadcast deal with Japan's Fuji TV, the company is still in the red and losing money fast.
Pride was never really successful in the beginning. Pride 2 show, when they had the Yokohama Arena show, they probably filled maybe 2,000 seats out of 14,000 seats. I was there, and I remember maybe I counted maybe 2,000. So what they did was they did turn off all the lights on the second floor, so it won't look that empty on television.
As the company lurches towards financial disaster, it's a colorful pro wrestler who surprisingly pulls Pride back from the brink. Despite Pride's early promise to be the mixed martial arts antidote to staged professional wrestling, organizers struggle to fill arenas and pay their bills. So it's not without irony that their potential bailout comes from a popular UWF pro wrestler named Kazushi Sakuraba, who defects to Pride in 1998.
He's just a young boy in a pro wrestling system. Who is Sakuraba?
Sakuraba's been rolling a lot, so he knows his submissions. And suddenly he decides to start fighting for real.
He was a little guy, but he had the striking, he had the submissions, he had the ring presence.
Spanking him. He's already used to fighting in front of a crowd, so there's no nerves, no nothing.
Sakuraba's pro wrestling theatrics combined with his eccentric persona to make him a much-needed draw for Pride.
Sakuraba was a Japanese favorite.
He was very famous, the most famous athlete and fighter, in the country. He's just walking money is what he is, just walking money.
Then they realized, we got a Japanese fighter who's very dominant.
Now Pride just needs to keep the myth of Sakuraba alive.
They wanted Sakuraba to win. So in the beginning, they brought in fighters who were good, but not super good.
He's gonna jump. Oh!
Eventually, you're gonna have to get great fighters.
Pride finds a storybook opponent. Royler Gracie is Rickson Gracie's brother. It was Rickson who humiliated Japanese wrestler Nobuhiko Takada back at Pride's first event. Sakuraba can avenge that loss if he somehow defeats another Gracie skilled in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, one of the best fighting systems in the world.
There you go.
I mean, just the name Gracie, you know that these guys been training since they were puppies, right? 2, 3 years old, they were armbarring people in their freaking diapers.
But in a surprising upset, Sakuraba quickly dominates Royler, easily bending the match and Royler's arm to his will.
The referee has stopped the fight.
It's a freaking Gracie, right? And he beats that person. So now there's interest, could be a fluke.
In fact, it's the beginning of an ongoing feud between Sakuraba and the Gracies. In May of 2000, another brother steps up to defend the family name.
A lot of people that have to shut up over there. I gotta shut them up.
Royce Gracie, the 3-time UFC champion, will battle Pride's King of the Ring.
Sakuraba was going to face Royce Gracie. And Royce said, I don't want to do a 30-minute fight. I want to just keep on going. We do 15 minutes, you have a break, 15 minutes all the time, and we just keep on going till there's a submission or a knockout.
Here we go. Royce comes right.
Dressed in his traditional gi, Royce turns his clothing into a weapon.
We have always the option to fight with the gi. I can trap a limb of yourself and hold my own gi. I can use my gi to get my own collar and have you choke here with my own collar. So I can use my gi in my favor. But my opponent can also use the gi to control me.
Oh, look at this.
Royce may be UFC royalty.
Sakuraba's having fun out there.
But Sakuraba is now the Prince of Pride.
He was a pro wrestler, but he used real techniques.
He's not worried. He just has control.
In Japan, they use strong style. And that means they use real submission techniques. Here in America, it's not. They grab an arm and they go, I feel this. There, they only use real submissions.
Remember, Royce demanded they fight until one of them can't fight anymore.
That fight was an hour and a half.
So just sitting there like he's bored. I think he wants Royce to run out of gas.
Oh!
It's a request Royce will regret.
But Royce is just taking a beating now.
Sakuraba has great wrestling skills, submission skills. He's a great fighter, good brain, calm, under pressure. He is very violent. And at the end, Sakuraba was more physical and has the ability to win the fight.
Sakuraba won that fight by stoppage, just throwing in the towel. He was so tired, he couldn't come out, he couldn't continue anymore.
That is an epic fight. That was an amazing, amazing battle.
Oh, he did it! Oh.
To this day, the match remains the longest fight in MMA history. At the end of the night, even the Gracie family's famous patriarch, Helio Gracie, the godfather of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, has to acknowledge that Sakuraba, the pro wrestler, is the real deal.
Sakuraba being very, very honorable.
With W's against Royce and his brother Royler, Sakuraba earns a new nickname, the Gracie Killer.
He's not even the best pro wrestler in Japan, but he's still beating Gracies.
And he isn't done. By December of 2000, the Gracie Killer has added 2 more to his legend.
Sakuraba was not just a fighter, but an athlete. The hell of an athlete to be able to stand there, take the punch and avoid the punch and give it back.
A pro wrestler who beats 4 Gracies till this day, it's unheard of. It's something that nobody ever did.
Sakuraba went through him like a knife through butter, yeah. Sakuraba, amazing, amazing fighter.
Oh, cartwheel!
He's like a precision surgeon.
It looks like he dislocated the elbow. Yeah, twisted all the way around.
But there is still one Gracie Sakuraba hasn't faced, the one who first launched Pride.
The momentum for me to fight Sakuraba was start to building to the point was I have the best approach to fight Sakuraba. And unfortunately, my son departed from this earth.
Rickson Gracie's son, 19-year-old Rickson Gracie, another promising young Gracie fighter, is found dead from a drug overdose in a New York City hotel room. Reeling from that tragic loss, Rickson cancels his fight with Sakuraba. To this day, it remains one of the biggest what-ifs in mixed martial arts.
It was the fight I supposed to do and I didn't because God didn't give it to me. I feel like it was be the biggest fight in my life and it didn't happen, so I have to live with that.
Rickson, the man who helped kickstart an MMA revolution in Japan, never fights professionally again.
The beginning of the 1993, Gracie is the king. And that story changed because of the Pride and Sakuraba.
If Mr. Sakuraba didn't emerge, I don't think Pride would have continued. That's when the Pride took off to become a big brand name and became a big promotion.
While Sakuraba helps clean up Pride's reputation around the legitimacy of its fights, there remains something nefarious in how the business operates.
There was a guy there all the time with a baseball hat. I think he came up one time and he gave me, I think, like $5,000 US just for a good fight. People don't do that, you know? My spider senses were tingling.
The man in the hat is Hiromichi Momose, Pride's shadowy money man. And the company's roster of fighters know he could be their most dangerous opponent.
He was somebody you don't want to mess with. A few of the fighters were invited out to go and have dinner with these people. Nobody has to tell you anything. You just know. These are the guys you're supposed to happy and smile with. Don't matter even if you don't want to. Do all you guess and smile at that.
Pride's mystery men expect the fighters to put on an even bigger show in the ring. And in the summer of 2002, organizers present a mind-blowing matchup that no other company would dare promote.
They will deliver the intensity that we want.
Former pro wrestler Kazushi Sakuraba uses his showmanship and submission skills to get Pride Fighting Championships off life support. Pride's revival is even attracting promising new American grapplers to the promotion.
Mark Carr, Kevin Randleman, all those wrestling elite came to Japan at that time. Top US wrestling guys actually competing in Japan.
You have a guy like Quentin Jackson coming in, and he's wearing a chain. Then he started just destroying people. Unbelievable! That's when you also saw that the foreigners start taking over the game.
Ooh, they're gonna go here!
Including former UFC champion Don Frye. On June 23, 2002, Pride presents Demolition, with Don Frye versus Japan's Yoshihiro Takayama as the main event. The 6'5", 275-pound Takayama towering over Frye is a modern-day David versus Goliath, with the fans in attendance rooting for Goliath.
I'm looking up at him, trying to read into his eyes, and finally I saw a little bit of doubt in there. Okay, I got you now, partner.
When the bell rings, Frye and Takayama waste no time.
Grabbed each other right at the scruff of the neck and then just went to pounding, you know? Just stood there and took it. Just trying to knock the head off the other guy. We had such a good fight.
Takayama looks like he's crying on Don Frye's shoulder here.
6 minutes into the first round, Frye manages to take down the giant Takayama. The fight also goes down as one of the greatest in MMA history.
We were walking through the hallway and going to the bus, and Takayama comes out, and he looked like hell, you know, because he broke, 3 or 4 bones in his face. He suffered physically, from that fight. But hell, that fight made him a hero. He said, Don, son, I'm sorry. So what for? It's for not giving you a good enough fight, Said, you're crazy. You give me a better fight, you'd have killed me. It was my best fight ever, and my best opponent ever, you know? God bless him.
2 months later, on August 28, 2002, Pride puts on an even more spectacular event called Shockwave. This pay-per-view battle royale pits fighters from Pride against those of its strongest competitor, the kickboxing promotion K1. It's a level of spectacle never before seen in modern combat sports.
Pride at the time was a big event, sensational, because they tried to make something unseen, you know, in terms of lights, in terms of show, size of the arenas, and the level of the fighters.
Production value of Pride Fighting Championships is uncanny. I mean, it's the most insane thing.
They had these guys on with huge drums. Boom, rah, boom. I was thinking at the time, I was thinking, holy shit. It was just a massive, massive thing. It was just incredible.
Shockwave's opening ceremony features skydivers and a colossal Olympic-sized torch lit by Helio Gracie and pro wrestling god Antonio Inoki. With an estimated 91,000 spectators, it's the largest live audience in MMA history.
It wasn't just a fight, it was like the Super Bowl.
And nobody leaves disappointed.
Antonio Nogueira, he fought Bob Sapp.
Both Nogueira brothers, you know, they're amazing. They came to win. That was the one thing they were determined to do. You saw Bob Sapp pick up one of the brothers and slam him down on his head. Slam him down on his head, almost broke his neck. You know, and Nogueira, he kept fighting. He came back and beat Bob. Vanderlei Silva is always great to watch.
Vanderlei Silva, the ex-murderer. That's his nickname. Just a freak of nature. It's scary.
Amazing things that some of those fighters pulled off.
In the main event, K1's Mirko Cro Cop faces off against Pride's favorite son, Sakuraba. And in a shock to Pride fans, Cro Cop beats the Gracie Killer.
Cro Cop's just like a robot. You know, he doesn't seem like he's natural. He's designed, you know, in a laboratory.
Shockwave helps make 2002 Pride's most successful year. In January of 2003, Pride's chairman and co-founder, Naoto Morishita, holds an upbeat press conference where he expresses nothing but confidence in Pride's future.
He'd come out and made the announcement of what their event schedule for 2003 was going to be. I'm Miro Mijatovic, and I was the most powerful fight manager and agent in the peak of Japanese fight industry. I'd heard they'd gone through a lot of difficult issues with their funders, and the fact that he'd made then the announcement of having their 2003 event schedule was seen as very positive and exciting news for Pride.
But only a day later, a devastating reversal.
Morishita, he was found dead in a hotel room at the Tokyo Hilton.
He hung himself. What? Why? What's going on?
Supposedly he was with his mistress or lover in the room, and she disappeared very soon after that. People in the entertainment industry in Japan or in the gangster world, they will know that that has all the usual elements of basically a Yakuza hit.
Oh man, that guy was a sweet guy. He was a sweetheart. He was a good man, and you just could tell he was a great guy, man. I really liked that guy.
Do you remember what you heard about his death?
I heard that he died, and yeah, just that he died.
Yeah,
I kind of don't want to step on toes around, so I'm trying to give you a story without stepping on other toes at the same time, but trying to give you what I know.
Was he murdered?
I don't know. According to everybody else, yes, but for myself, I don't know. You know, it's hard to say. And not only that, you don't want to say on TV.
For those aware of the shady characters working in the shadows at Pride, Naoto Morishita's death the day after his upbeat press conference is suspicious. But what authorities see is an open and shut case.
The police concluded it's just accident. Who knows? Who knows? It's an accident, they say. It's a kinky S&M stuff. That's what they say. And then by mistake, he hung himself. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Do you believe that story?
No, I don't. Mr. Momose, who was always on the ring side of Pride at the time, he was, heavily involved in, Yakuza.
The Yakuza is Japan's homegrown crime syndicate. And while organized crime has been linked for decades to combat sports across the world, in Japan, the Yakuza is a multi-headed hydra with tendrils wrapped around many aspects of Japanese life.
The mafia is involved on the coffee shop. The mafia is involved on the laundromat. The mafia is involved on the movie theater. They can do everything they want. They rule the city.
Yakuza, obviously, a big part of the country, but for some reason, you're not supposed to admit it.
It's very customary for a Yakuza, a mobster, to be associated with the entertainment business. Every major Japanese record company, entertainment company, hired ex-Yakuza to be their executive so they can accommodate the Yakuza.
And while there's no known link between Naoto Morishita and the Yakuza, following his death, Pride announces his successor will be the promotion's co-founder, Nobuyuki Sakakibara. And here, things get murky.
Mr. Sakakibara was a businessman who was running a Pride with Mr. Morishita. He was basically a number two of the company. So when Morishita passed away, it was natural for number two guy to step up to the number one spot.
But when Sakakibara assumes control, a new Yakuza family enters the picture.
I sort of had this thing that the more you get involved in talking about all the Yakuza stuff, the more that you're going to have to be involved in that game. I mean, my policy was, I don't know anything about this, and I don't want to know. And then suddenly I saw, some sort of gangster war was about to happen in front of my eyes. It sort of, for me, it was just like, this is just the shit that happens.
And that gangster shit starts happening at a Pride event in November of 2003.
Two groups of big Yakuzas were fighting. All these Yakuzas were in backstage, calling shots or demanding something. That's when, I can't name names, the original Yakuza group who was backing the Pride got pushed over by a new group that came in with the new president.
All right, now they're going to have a gang war in Tokyo Dome while their biggest event ever is being telecast on live TV. It's like, yeah, of course, Pride, that's what they're going to do, right?
Well, Pride's future is now in the hands of Sakakibara, who denies any involvement with the Yakuza. By 2003, the company's legacy as a world-class fighting promotion is already assured.
Pride Fighting Championships was the greatest thing on the planet. Before Sakakibara got involved in it, it was a great place to work. Great place to do business,
Pride from 1990s to early 2000, it's a golden era, first golden era of MMA. They did produce one of the best fights in history, one of the best tournaments in history. I think it left a profound impact on many MMA fans' mind. I think fans was hoping that Pride would continue.